we're looking at day 2 of compasses. We're going to start with an angle bisector. We're going to bisect this angle. So I am going to take my compass and I am going to put the pointy end on the vertex of my angle. You guys all with me? Some of you are still getting out your packets. Pointy end on my vertex, and I'm going to make sure that my compass is smaller than my ray. I'm going to make sure my compass is smaller than my ray. And then I'm going to make, pushing on the pointy end, I'm going to make a nice arc. Make sure it intersects both the bottom and the side ray. Good? Okay, making sure my compass stays the same length. Making sure my compass stays the same length. I am going to put the pointy end on the intersection of the angle and the ray. And I am going to make an arc. You can make it as big as you want. Bigger is better than small. Now I'm going to take the pointy section and I'm going to put it over the intersection of the vertical ray, the one that's going up and down, and the arc, and I'm going to make another arc. So I've got 3 arcs. I arced it. I put the pointy end on the intersection of the arc and the ray and made an arc. Intersection, ray and arc. And now where the vertex of my angle, where the 2 rays cross, and the intersection of those 2 arcs, I'm going to put my ruler there and draw a nice straight line. And I bisected my angle, so both these angles are now congruent. It is cut in half. It is cut in half. Yes?
I think one of my...
Bring it to Mr. Bergman. He'll either get you another one or fix yours. Okay, so now let's write instructions so we remember how to do this. So I'm going to do this one, and then the other ones I'm going to have you guys share out. So my first step to bisect an angle is make an arc when the compass is on the vertex and is smaller than the ray. Two, make a new arc from the intersection of the ray and the first arc. 3, make a third arc from the other ray and the intersection of the first arc. Okay. 4, make a straight line from the vertex to the second and third arc intersection. Okay, do you need to write down exactly what I did? No. This is for you. This is for you personally. So if this is too much and you're like, I'm going to get confused from all that she wrote, make it shorter for you. Remember, you're going to have to do 3 more of these on this page tomorrow. So what do you need to write so you don't forget how to do it? What do you need to write so you don't forget how to do it? Okay, you ready to turn this over? Yep, I can wait. Okay. All right, we are going to create a perpendicular bisector. We're going to create a perpendicular bisector. Okay. So I am going to take my compass and I'm going to put the pointy end on the very end point by P. And then I'm going to make my compass wider than halfway. So it shouldn't go all the way to the end, but when I look at it, I'm like, okay, that's more than half the line for sure, right? Then I'm going to make a nice big arc. Okay, so I've made a nice big arc from P. Then I'm going to flip it over, flip my compass over, and I'm going to put the pointy end on Q. Right at the end, not on the letter Q, but like on the end point near Q. And I'm going to draw a nice big arc. So you get this nice football shape right here, up and down football shape. And now I am going to draw a line connecting those two intersections, the intersection of both the arcs. And I have created a perpendicular bisector, meaning I have bisected it, cut it in half at 90 degrees. I've cut it in half at 90 degrees. Okay, once you have done this, I want you guys to go ahead and try writing out instructions. Try writing out instructions.
So how do you do these ones? So do you just...
So once you make your arc, you got to make sure it's the same. You put it where the arc intersects the ray and the arc. You draw one. Ray and arc, draw one. Now you're going to draw a line from there to there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, anybody want to share out what they have? Anybody make instructions for this particular event? I want to share out your stuff. You guys need a few minutes to finish writing up steps. I see a lot of people still writing. Better than mine. All right, so here we have somebody's points. First, put pointy part on P as you make an arc. Second, make sure compass is the same. Just repeat the process on the other end. Third, the straight line through the arcs. That's perfect. This person's going to know exactly what to do for them when they come back to this on Friday. Is it the exact same as yours? Probably not, but it still works, right? Bless you. Okay, let's go ahead and move to number 5. We're going to make a perpendicular through the point. We're going to make it perpendicular through this point. All right. I am going to put my compass right here on the line. Then I'm going to turn my compass sideways and make it short enough so that I know it will go through Z. See how I shortened that and it's going to hit Z? I'm going to make it a little shorter. Okay. Now I'm going to make an arc. So far, so good? Now I'm going to put the pointy end of my compass where the arc and the line intersect. I'm going to put it right where the arc and the line intersect. It should still go straight through Z. So it's almost the same thing, just slightly different. And then I'm going to make my line. It's going to hit Z, and I'm going to put it through that bottom intersection. Do you want me to go over that again?
Yeah.
I went real fast, huh? Okay. First, I'm going to start from the beginning. First, I'm going to make my compass big enough so that it hits the line and hits the point Z. See how I'm doing that? Line and point Z. And then I just make the arc. Now the pointy end now needs to go where the arc and my line intersect. Right there. And that's how I make my other arc. Okay? And then I draw my line connecting it. Should look like this. Goes the intersection right here to make your second arc. Yeah. Is that what you're asking? Okay, write your little steps. I'm going to come around and grab somebody's little steps. Even if I see some of you are trying to finish some of this up, some of you are trying to like jump ahead and do more than one of these, you still need to do your steps. I'm going to give you a new sheet of this eventually where you're going to have to figure it all out again. You need to have these steps written down so you don't forget how to do it. Okay. I've got somebody who's made it pretty and color-coded. Okay, so look at these steps. Put compass on the end of the line. She's got where number 1 works. Make huge arcs so it goes through Z. She's got 2 labeled up here. Split through the intersection of the arcs. She's got her line. It is clear that the person that made these instructions and has the points there is going to know how to do this again. She's got her steps, and then she's marked her steps in the diagram, and she's color-coded it. Okay? All right, let's move on to page 6. Number 6. Okay. We want to go perpendicular to this line, and we want the perpendicular line to go through this point. So, I'm going to put my compass on here. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my compass to make a little measurement. I'm going to make my compass smaller, and I'm going to make an arc here, just a little one, and then I'm going to flip it over and make an arc in the other direction. That is guaranteeing us that P is right in the middle. So it doesn't really matter how big you make it. I made mine smaller because I didn't want arcs to be too big, but I made sure that P is right in the middle. Okay? Now when I do this, I am going to make sure that I put my pointy end on this intersection and draw an arc. And then I'm going to put the pointy end on this intersection and I'm going to draw an arc. Then I'm just connecting those lines again. So it's the exact same as what I just did last time, except I had to measure and figure out how to get P right in the middle.
So you make.
Go ahead, Layla.
So do you just make the compass a little more smaller?
Yeah, I just made it a little more smaller. You could have made it bigger. It doesn't, like it could have been bigger than this if you wanted. And then I measured it. And then all I did now was make my compass a little bit bigger. So that means we're probably missing a step. So watch me one more time. Okay, first, I make my compass smaller than I originally would want, right? And I make an arc, and I make an arc. Next step, I put the pointy end on the arc, And then I make my compass bigger. A lot of you guys missed that step. I make an arc. Now I don't change it when I flip it and put it on the other one to make it bigger. If you missed that step where you didn't make it bigger, you are going to get one that looks like yours, Jenny. Okay? All right, guys, why don't you make the steps for this one now? Make the steps for this one.
So do you just don't touch the middle of it?
Okay, one more time. First, I make it smaller than I'd want, and I put the pointy end on P, make an arc, flip it over, pointy end on P, make a mark on the other side. Then I put the pointy end on the mark, but I make the compass bigger. Make an arc that I don't touch the middle, I flip it over, and I make another arc. Then I'm going to connect the two arcs. Okay, make sure you're writing out your instructions. Write out your instructions. So here's some written instructions. You can compare yours to this. We're going to make a small arc on both sides of a point so that the point is in the middle. Make the compass a little bigger, put pointy on an intersection, and make an arc on both sides. Connect intersections. Okay? So that's just one other way. Make a small arc on both sides so the point is in the middle. Make compass a little bit bigger, put pointy end on intersections and make an arc on both sides. Connect intersections. Okay? Let's move to step 7. All right, we are going to make parallel lines. So parallel lines has quite a few steps to it. First thing we're going to do is do just like we did for number 4 or 5, where we are going to make a perpendicular line through the point. So we're going to follow those exact instructions first, which means I pick a point on my line. Then I'm going to make up my compass so that it goes through Z. Gonna make an arc. Then I'm gonna flip my compass so the pointy end goes on the intersection and the line. I'm gonna make an arc. I'm going to draw a line connecting those two intersections. We did this earlier. I have now made a perpendicular line that goes through point Z. Now I'm going to turn it sideways. Are you ready? Everybody's here? If you're not here, get here first. Okay, now we're going to pick this up. We're going to turn it sideways. Okay. Now we're going to do the exact same thing we just did on number 6. Exact same thing we did on number 6. So I'm going to make my compass a little bit smaller. And I'm going to put the pointy end on my point and make the arcs on either side of it. Okay. Now I'm going to put the pointy end on the intersection of the line and the arc, and I'm going to make my compass a little bit bigger. I'm going to draw an arc. I'm going to flip it, put it on the other intersection. I'm going to draw an arc. See how I get that football shape? And now I'm going to connect my intersections. So for this one, for number 7, we didn't learn anything new. We just combined 2 things. We did the one where we made a perpendicular line where we intersected a point. Then we turned it sideways and we made a perpendicular line that with the point in the middle. Okay, on the line. So if 2 lines are perpendicular to the same line, if line N and my new line are both perpendicular to this line right here, we know they're parallel to each other. It's the rule. If 2 lines are perpendicular to the same line, they're parallel to each other. Do you guys want me to go over that again? Because I did it a little bit quick, and there was a lot of steps.
Maybe the second part, because I still don't get it.
Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning just to make sure we're good, okay? You ready? I am going to put the pointy end of my compass on the line. So if you got this, it might be good to write down steps right now. If you're like, I got it all, maybe you could write down steps as I'm saying it. That might be helpful, right? Pointy end on the line. I open up my compass, make it big enough so that my pencil hits Z, hits point Z. I'm going to make an arc. I pick up my compass. I don't change how big it is. I put it on the intersection. I make another arc. I draw a line that goes through Z and where the 2 arcs intersect. So far, so good?
Yes.
Take your paper, flip it sideways. I've got point Z. I'm going to make a line that's perpendicular to this new line I drew that goes through point Z. So then I'm going to take my compass. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I don't have a lot of room. And I'm going to put the pointy end on Z, and I'm going to make a little mark on my line. I'm going to flip it over, pointy end on Z, make a little mark on my line. I'm going to put the pointy end on the intersection of my arc and my line, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to draw an arc. I'm going to keep my compass the same. I'm just going to flip it so the pointy end is on my other intersection with my line. I'm going to draw another arc. And I'm going to draw a line between those 2 arcs, and it should go straight through Z. Okay? All right, if we look, this one we can make it real easy. We can do, say, my notes for this one might be 1, do the steps for number 5. 2, do steps for number 6. Done. right? That can be your whole thing for this, right? Because it's just the combination of those two. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.